another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Margaret Mack, and for the next hour I'll be reading from the August 1st to August 7th issue of the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And the front page article is Roscoe Henderson III is appointed to Buffalo School Board. Last week, the Buffalo Board of Education appointed Roscoe Henderson III to represent North District, filling the vacancy created by the resignation of former board member Cindy McGeehan. The appointment came at a time when the Buffalo Public Schools face significant governance challenges, making the selection of a qualified and community-minded representative an important decision for both the board and the residents of the North District. Henderson brings a diverse background in public service to the position. After serving more than 25 years with the Buffalo Police Department as an accident investigator, he continued his commitment to the community by working as a school resource officer, substitute teacher, and detention supervisor. These experiences gave him firsthand knowledge of the challenges facing students, educators, and families within the Buffalo Public Schools system. As a graduate of Buffalo Public Schools and a longtime resident of the North District, Henderson also possesses a personal connection to the district he was chosen to represent. His mission is centered on collaboration, accountability, and ensuring that decisions were made with students' educational needs as the highest priority. Henderson stated that his motivation for seeking the appointment was to give back to the community that had helped shape his life and career. Beyond his professional experience, Henderson has been involved in Buffalo's civic and cultural organizations, including work with institutions that promoted arts and education. His community engagement demonstrated a broader commitment to improving opportunities for residents and supporting organizations that enrich the city's education and cultural landscape. And this next front page article is written by Betty Jean Grant. The East Side will always love the old rock pile and O.J. Simpson. One of my proudest moments was working with Charlie Fisher, Beverly Gray, James Pitts, Antoine Thompson, and others to name the last remnant of the old War Memorial Stadium, the Johnny B. Wiley Sports Complex. Members of the elected officials and the community activists wanted to honor a great leader and role model for our young black men here on the east side of Buffalo. Many who worked to secure Mr. Wiley's name on that stadium remember the years that O.J. Simpson played in a stadium that was located, like the Buffalo Bills' name, in Buffalo. The record that were broken and his outstanding performance on the football field were legendary, and decades later, many of his feats are enshrined in halls of fame from the national and collegiate levels. The world of professional football is still recognizing the unimaginable 2003 rushing yards O.J. Simpson ran in a regular 14-game football season. How or why would a team owner want to hide, erase, or whitewash that distinction? Surely it was not for the fans, because people who believe in fairness and decency are separating O.J.'s professional football career from the troubles in his personal life. They, like this writer, believe that one cannot use allegations or personal opinions to override the verdict of a duly impaneled jury. But, like I stated earlier, that decision does not factor in what he accomplished in the world of football. A community group I am spearheading is in the process of collecting signatures to present to the Buffalo Bills organization to reconsider taking O.J. Simpson's name and plaques from the Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame. Thousands of signatures, black, white, and representatives from almost every cultural group have made their wishes known. They know, the same as this writer, that O.J. Simpson put Buffalo and the Buffalo Bills on the world map as it pertains to football. To Mr. Terry Pagula and the Buffalo Bills leadership team, please do not break the heart and soul of the black community. The community that felt so proud when that young black man, whom they saw sitting in a barber's chair and eating John Young's chicken wings, rushed and ran to become the greatest football player to ever wear a Buffalo Bills uniform. Please do the right and honorable thing. Return O.J. Simpson's name to that wall where he earned the right to be for the 1969 to 1977 years as a member of the Buffalo Bills. If one wishes to help this cause by gathering signatures, please email this writer at bettyjeangrant100@gmail.com. Thank you. And the final front page article, Masjed Newman celebrates 30 years of Putting the Neighborhood Back in the Hood Community Walk. On Saturday, August 8th, 2026, Masjid Newman will celebrate 30 years of Putting the Neighbor Back in the Hood Community Walk. This year's theme is From Roots to Resources. Lineup will start on Woodlawn Avenue behind the Buffalo C District Precinct at the corner of Fillmore Avenue. The walk will begin at 11 a.m. along Fillmore Avenue and end at MLK Park. Outstanding Community Service Awards will be presented at noon, followed by food and entertainment until 5 p.m. Keeping with our theme, From Roots to Resources, a community resources tent will host information tables to assist and connect residents with invaluable Buffalo and Western New York services throughout the day. Entertainment will include Jomo Akuno, African drummers and dancers, Larry Salter's Our Roots Band, Henry Star Mohammed and Mohammed School of Music students, and the Isaiah Timothy Trio, up-and-coming young artist featured around Western New York. This year, we will also host the United States Chess Federation TD Archangel 8 Chess Club Tournament, beginning at 2 p.m. From 3rd to 8th grade students, contact knightsof64@yahoo.com for registration. There are no walk-ins. The tournament will be held under the Resource Information Tent. Putting the Neighbor Back in the Hood began as a response to a call by EMW Dean Mohammed, the son of the Honorable Elijah and Clara Mohammed, to help build model communities where you live. 30 years ago, the neighborhood in the vicinity of the Masjid Mosque, located on East Utica and Fillmore Avenue, was experiencing the effects of drugs, crime, and violence, like many urban centers around the country, infested with the crack cocaine epidemic. Being from the hood was more a badge of honor for toughness and survival than being a neighbor. Hence, the concept, "Let's help by putting the neighbor back in the hood," came about. Members from the Masjid, along with community residents, began by cleaning up what is today the Box Avenue playground and other areas where blight and garbage were being dumped. We assisted neighbors with food donations and seniors with housing and safety concerns. This year will be our 3rd year making this a citywide initiative, and we will honor outstanding and often unsung community servants from across the city of Buffalo and Western New York. We invite you to come for a walk with us and bring your family and friends to share in the celebration of putting the neighbor back in the hood. We also invite you on the following day, Sunday, August 9th, to share with us a relaxing and family setting. Putting the neighbor back in the hood boat ride from 4 to 6 p.m. Buffalo Harbor Cruise, 79 Marine Drive. Contact 315 417 1712 for tickets, or pick up at Ansoir Frances, located at 1367 Fillmore Avenue. Tickets are $40 and include live music. And our next article is under the subject of community news, and it's written by Barbara Miller Williams, the city's comptroller. What Buffalo's latest credit rating means for you. Fitch Rating recently lowered the City of Buffalo's credit rating from A+ to A and changed its financial outlook to negative. What that may sound like something that only matters to banks or investors, it affects every Buffalo taxpayer. Think of the city's credit rating like a personal credit rating. A higher rating allows the city to borrow money at lower interest rates for projects like roads, parks, and public buildings. When that rating drops, borrowing money becomes more expensive, leaving fewer dollars available for essential services. Fitch's message is clear. The city has been spending more than it brings in and relying on one-time revenues to balance the budget instead of sustainability recurring funds. At the same time, the city's financial reserves, our emergency savings account, have drastically declined, leaving Buffalo less prepared to respond to unexpected financial challenges. While Fitch recognized Buffalo's strong economy and stable tax base, it also became the third major credit rating agency, joining Moody and S&P Global Rating, to downgrade the city's credit score. When all three agencies raise similar concerns, it is a clear signal that lasting financial changes are needed. As your comptroller, my job is to provide independent oversight and keep citizens informed. We must rebuild our reserves, reduce our reliance on one-time funding, and adapt balanced budgets that put Buffalo on stronger financial footing. These are critical steps to protect taxpayer dollars and ensure the city can continue providing the services we depend on. These are not just accounting goals, they are essential steps toward protecting taxpayer dollars and delivering high quality of life public services. Buffalo has overcome fiscal challenges before, and I believe we can do it so again. But lasting progress requires honest conversations, responsible leadership, and a commitment to making difficult decisions today so that future generations inherit a stronger, more financially secure city. As comptroller, I remain committed to providing independent oversight, promoting transparency, and advocating for policies that put Buffalo on a path toward long-term stability. My office will continue to keep residents informed because every citizen deserves to understand not only what is happening with the city's finances, but why it matters. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And next, under Community News, we have the column Towards a Better Life by Eva M. Doyle. Quotations for teachers and African proverbs for everyone. The following are some quotes for teachers to remember. They are from a book called Teachers Make the Difference, written by Claudine Godolphy and illustrated by Patsy Pennington. The quotations. First, Teachers must inspire students to dream and give them the tools and knowledge to make these dreams possible. Next, while teaching in front of a class of students, a teacher must always be behind them and encourage them to succeed. Next, it is more important to teach students how to think critically. Nothing inspires a student more than a teacher who is in love with his or her subject. The best teachers are those who make getting through the material a pleasure. Teaching is an art. The master teacher seeks new methods and learns from the students. African proverbs are another source of inspiration for everyone to remember. The following proverbs are found in various countries in Africa. They include the following: children are the wealth of a nation. He who learns also teaches. When a king has good counselors, his reign is peaceful. Knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. One must talk little and listen a lot. Knowledge is better than riches. A good deed is something one returns. He who does not know one thing knows another. Home affairs are not talked about in the public square. If you are building a house and a nail breaks, do you stop building or do you change the nail? The day one starts out is not the time to start preparations. Wisdom does not come overnight. And finally, life is a shadow and a mist. It passes quickly by, and then no more. And next we have state news, and this article is written by Arima Long from the Amsterdam News. Governor Hochul offering help to Howard University students. As news spread quickly about hundreds of students being bumped from fall enrollment at Howard University, Governor Kathy Hochul is responding by granting impacted New York State resident students guaranteed entry to CUNY and SUNY schools. The state will expedite late admissions and waive the usual $800 enrollment fee. Hundreds of students, including New Yorkers, are scrambling and scared since they've been disenrolled from their intended college just a few weeks before classes are set to begin, said Hochul in a statement. New York is home to the nation's finest system of public higher education, and we are ready to welcome these talented students with the opportunity they deserve. To every student who is worried that their educational future has been disrupted, New York is ready to support and empower you. Hochul has directed participating State University of New York and the City University of New York schools and colleges to ensure that every impacted New York resident student will be guaranteed admission for the fall 2026 semester. They will also receive an $800 credit to offset non-refundable Howard University enrollment deposits. Impacted students and families seeking additional information about eligibility, participating campuses, and the admissions process are encouraged to visit SUNY at www.suny.edu/Howard or CUNY /admissions. Howard's enrollment confusion involving more than 500 students due to financial aid deadlines went viral as devastated students took to social media once they were removed from the fall 2026 freshman class. The school year begins on August 17th. Howard said it contacted students and families throughout March, April, May, June, and July with information about deadlines. However, many students and parents maintained that their circumstances were complicated at best, especially since some students hadn't received scholarships or financial aid payouts in their accounts. As of this week, 46 affected students have been reinstated after individuals made payment arrangement for tuition, contacted financial aid, and secured outside scholarships, the JIO reported. Additionally, impacted students from outside New York will receive expedited late admission review at participating campuses with available capacity. SUNY Chancellor John B. King Jr. said in a statement, "There is a place at SUNY for every New Yorker, and we want to empower all students with access to the affordable, excellent public higher education they deserve." We thank Governor Hochul for her leadership and vision to support students who recently were disenrolled and ensure that they are able to pursue their academic goals at SUNY campuses. Potential participating SUNY campuses that will provide expedited admissions review include the State University of New York at Albany, the State University of New York at Binghamton, and the State University of New York at Buffalo, the State University of New York at Stony Brook, SUNY Buffalo State University, SUNY New Paltz, and SUNY Oneonta, with additional campuses reviewing available capacity. CUNY mission is to expand access to higher education for all students, not restrict its base or financial means. CUNY Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez said in a statement, "To these students currently facing uncertainty and left in academic limbo, our doors are open, our admissions are expedited, and your dream of a college degree remains well within reach." We are grateful to Governor Hochul for her vision and swift action to help these displaced students find a home in our public university system. CUNY has 26 colleges citywide, but has not yet listed which schools are participating in expedited admissions. You can contact cuny.edu/admissions/undergraduate. And the next article is also under the subject of state news. State audit finds administrative delays with housing program for veterans with disabilities. Only 36% of funds to help fix and make homes accessible has been spent. An audit released of the New York Access to Home for Heroes Veterans Program found inadequate oversight and poor outreach delayed the distribution of funds for homes and accessibility repairs for veterans with disabilities, according to New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli. Auditors determined that only 36% of the program's $3.3 million in recent contract funding was spent, while some counties with the largest population of disabled veterans were not aware of the program or did not apply for funding. Affordable, accessible housing remains out of reach for many New York veterans, DiNapoli said. This program is supposed to deliver critical home repairs, but poor oversight and weak outreach left veterans waiting for help. Our recommendations will help the state fix this program and better assist the men and women who served our country. Only a fraction of the program's money is spent. Of the $3.3 million awarded during this 3-year audit period, only $1.2 million, or 36%, was spent as of October 2025. In total, 81 projects were completed in 15 of New York's 62 counties. Since the program's creation in 2015, only about 31% of the $19.6 million allocated to the program has been spent, averaging 33 projects annually statewide. Oversight shortfalls. Auditors found OCR did not effectively monitor contractor performance or adequately identify or conduct outreach to underserved regions with high disabled veteran populations. OCR relied too heavily on local providers to market the program without sufficient oversight. The audit also identified repeated failures by LPAs to meet project milestones, follow competitive bidding rules, and comply with conflict of interest requirements. Among major findings, 7 LPAs missed at least one major contract milestone 80% of the time, delaying assistance to veterans when auditors reviewed 10 contracts. 2 LPAs missed a key milestone by almost 3 years. 2 of 10 contracts failed to submit required initial project reviews despite being 10 months into the contract term. 7 of the 10 reviewed contracts contained incomplete or inaccurate records, raising concerns about improper use of funds. Auditors identified questionable bidding practices to multiple contracts, including sharing the bid of one contractor with another contractor. Some LPAs failed to comply with conflict of interest requirements, 2 of 10 contracts, including one instance in which an administrator hired a relative. Outreach and marketing efforts were far from adequate, with only 2 of 9 LPAs advertising the program in accordance with their marketing plan. Auditors found that OCR monitoring activities were limited to the beginning and end of the contracts, with little review during execution. Although OCR officials contacted LPAs about missing milestones, this monitoring was ineffective, as the same LPAs continued missing milestones. In some cases, veterans experienced significant delays in having repairs made. The audit also found problems with outreach and public awareness. Auditors identified 35 counties with large populations of disabled veterans, yet 19 of those counties had no program applicants at all. Officials from some municipalities with high veteran populations reported they had never heard of the program. DiNapoli's audit included an interactive map showing the population of veterans with disabilities and funding by county. Although OCR requires LPAs to submit marketing plans and supporting outreach through websites, social media, community events, and advertising, auditors found most organizations did not follow through. Of 9 LPAs that pledged to advertise the program online, only 2 had done so. To address these issues, auditors recommended HCR strengthen oversight and monitoring of local program administrators, increase site visits and desk reviews, ensure compliance with eligibility, procurement, and conflict of interest requirements, improve statewide marketing and outreach strategies targeting veterans and local officials, and identify underserved areas with high concentrations of disabled veterans to expand awareness and participation. In response to the audit, HCR officials generally agreed with some of the audit's recommendations. Full response is in the audit. The full response is in the audit. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next up on the opinion page, we have an article by Ben Jealous. You are already paying for the AI boom. Some states made data centers pay their own way. Others handed the bill to you. Virginia settled this question in 1882. Pull up your electric bill. Somewhere in that number, you are paying for a building you will never enter. Data centers are going up everywhere. They need enormous amounts of electricity. Somebody must pay to connect them and build the plants and lines they need. In state after state, that someone is you, not everywhere. Texas requires the largest new power users to pay more of their connection cost and cut demand when the grid is strained. The data centers came anyway. Ohio now makes large new customers pay for much of the electricity they reserve, whether they use it or not. Projection for new demand then fell sharply. Much of the energy was companies holding space they might never fill. Virginia chose differently. It gives data centers a tax break on their equipment. Good Jobs First estimates that subsidy costs Virginia schools $267 million in 1 year. Illinois lawmakers let a similar bill die without a vote. Neither list sorts cleanly by party. Before you file this as a new problem, meet my great-great-grandfather Edward David Bland, was born into slavery in Dinwiddie County, Virginia in 1848. 31 years later, he was helping write the state's laws. He served 3 terms in the House of Delegates and sat on the Committee of Schools and Colleges. That was not a coincidence. That was the point. Virginia was fighting over debt borrowed before the Civil War for canals and railroads. With interest, it had passed $45 million. One side said, pay every penny, whatever it took. They were called the funders. Here is what it was taking. Virginia was starving its public schools to pay bondholders. The bondholders lived in New York and London. The children lived in Petersburg and Danville. The other side said the debt would be paid, but not out of the schoolhouse. They were the regesters, black and white together, farmers, freemen, and former Confederate general named William Mahone. A man born into slavery and a man who wore gray were counting the same votes on one floor. They ran Virginia for 4 years. In 1882, they cut the state share of the debt by roughly a third and refinanced the rest over 50 years. Then they spent the difference. They put money back into public schools. They funded schools with black teachers. They repealed the poll tax. They tore down the whipping post. The readjusters knew something we forgot. Whoever profits should not get to send the bill to whoever cannot say no. I am not against data centers. This country cannot afford to fall behind in artificial intelligence. And the reasons are not all about money. I am against making working families subsidize the world's richest companies. It does not always take a governor. A small town in Illinois capped a data center's water use with penalties if it went over. A town council did that. Now, let us tell you how the readjusters lost. This is the part we forget. They were not beaten on the debt. They won that argument. In October of 1883, their opponents warned that black residents of Danville had gained too much power. On November 3rd, Market Day, a street fight became a shooting. 5 men died. 4 were black. For 3 days, armed white men walked the streets and kept black Virginians from the polls. The election came that week. Democrats took both houses. They never took the schools back. The new legislation left the school money alone. It left the whipping posts gone. It left the debt settled. They did not undo the policy, they undid the voters. In 1902, a new state constitution stripped most black Virginians of the ballot for more than 60 years. They were not defeated by a better plan. They were defeated by a campaign that made white farmers fear black farmers more than the men taking the money from both. It is the cheapest trick in American politics, and it has never once been out of stock. The people paying for these deals live in Loudoun County and Memphis, in white towns in Iowa, and black neighborhoods in Atlanta, in union halls and farmhouses. They are already paying the same bill. They just have not been asked to fight it together. Somebody will work hard to make sure they never do. My great-grandfather learned his letters at a night school for freemen after the war. He was 17 years old. Then he sat on the committee that funded schools so other children would not wait. He knew exactly what a school was worth. Go find out what your state did. Then find out who let it happen. And next up is a commentary on Buffalo Public Schools. This is written by Dr. Paulette Woods. When powerful interests compete, who will stand for the children? The Buffalo Public School District has been front page news recently. BPS's primary responsibility is the education of our children. The focus should be on reading, writing, and arithmetic, providing skills for the children who are the future of our community and our nation. But all I have seen in the news lately is opinions from powerful competing interests. I see the Buffalo Teachers Federation, who are once again in negotiations for contract raises with the Buffalo Public Schools, fighting to control the BOE, which must approve the Buffalo Teachers Federation contract. The last time the teachers' contract was settled, the Buffalo Public Schools had just won a 10-year battle with New York State for a $70 million increase in foundation aid revenues, which went to increase salaries and benefits for the teachers' contract. Buffalo teachers are now the highest paid in Western New York, with lifetime retirees' health benefits included in their package. This is a major contributing factor to the $60 million deficit in the Buffalo Public Schools annual budget. Follow the money. What about children's education? Did the children's ability to read or write increase? No. In fact, 58% of Buffalo Public Schools are now in receivership and or titled Schools in Need of Improvement. Where is the consumer benefit to the children? The Buffalo School District has an independently elected, nonpartisan board. There are no Republican children, Democratic or liberal children. There are only our beloved children in need of skills to build, serve, and lead this nation. We've got to do something to save the children. That is the guide policy of the Buffalo Board of Education. In the news are various politicians who are led loudly by the mayor of Buffalo, the mayor of the city of on life support with no fund balance, a city which depends on the Buffalo Public School System to pay its bills for months for the city of Buffalo's salaries, utilities, etc. That fund balance was painfully built from years of good management and cutbacks in Buffalo Public School expenses, including layoffs and strategic research for increases in revenues. Should a bankrupt city of Buffalo be attempting to take over and control the children's money? just to pay their bills. This is an education system, not an employment system. The only way the Buffalo Public Schools should save the city is to provide an educated workforce with new young leaders to improve management systems. My question is, when powerful interests compete, who will stand for the children? Difficult decisions lie ahead. Closing of up to 4 schools. The Buffalo Public Schools are right-sizing, but the city of Buffalo has added 4 new deputy mayors at a cost of approximately $1 million when fringe benefits are included. It is the ability to ask the tough questions that shows true leadership. When Board of Education members asked a tough question, why was the superintendent creating a new division with 3 new jobs while 57 positions serving the children were being cut in the 2026 Buffalo Public School budget? The board was not targeting anyone. It was good management. Questioning both additions to and reductions to expenditures and revenue is part of the Board of Education's primary legal responsibility in passing a budget for BPS operations. The superintendent was asked to justify the new positions, especially since he had cut several positions from the nationally recognized Cultural and Linguistic Relevance Initiative program. The increases and the decreases in the 2026 budget were questioned and justified if possible. Difficult decisions lie ahead for Buffalo Public Schools. Restructuring services to autistic children, service to disabled children, and providing students with discipline problems and under-accredited students a way to graduate. The former superintendent had set direction for institutional improvement in these areas. He had worked with the community and had their support. Implementing and providing excellent service to children is the Board of Education's specific responsibility and direction. The Buffalo Board of Education has excellent independently elected district representatives. 2 law school graduates, the president of the board has a PhD, several have a master's degree in education, leadership, but most of all, they put children first. There is no competing interest. Putting children and families first by providing excellent education for all is the goal. It should be noted that as of January, for the first time, the Board of Education is being led by a majority of new young leaders, including 2 African American males. 3 were newly elected this year in 2026, and 3 were newly elected last year in 2025. Also note that the Council of Great City Schools has set a path for board excellence, guidance, and development with a focus on student achievement. A new and capable superintendent, Dr. Ebony Bullock, has been chosen with experience in data and accountability. The Board of Education has conscientiously followed New York State education law in expeditiously addressing the personnel challenges that have been thrust in their path with dignity, cooperation, and discussion with the Commissioner of Education. Buffalo Public Schools has set a path to march forward to deliver excellent education for all of our children. There is no competing interest for the majority of Board Education members. The community's parents support the focus on improving student achievement. This is their vision. Let's keep moving forward. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And next up, we have some upcoming community events. Community Health Center of Buffalo Incorporated hosts a free family event. Free school supplies available while supplies last to celebrate National Health Center Week. The Community Health Center of Buffalo Incorporated will celebrate National Health Center Week with a free family-friendly community event on Friday, August 7th from noon to 4 at 34 Benwood Avenue, Buffalo, New York. The event is open to all community members and features food, music, family activities, and community resources. To help families prepare for the upcoming school year, Community Health Center of Buffalo Incorporated will distribute free school supplies while they last. Community health centers provide critical primary and preventative health care services to communities in need. The Community Health Center of Buffalo, with locations in Erie and Niagara counties, provides quality and affordable medical services for the whole family, regardless of an ability to pay. The Community Health Center of Buffalo provides medical services for people of ages, including annual checkups, dental care, mental health services, family planning and women's health immunizations, and preventative screening. For more information about the event, call 716-986-9199, extension 2012. Note, an event rain date is scheduled for Friday, August 14th. The 2026 National Health Center Week from August 2 to 8 is an annual celebration aimed at increasing awareness of the essential medical services provided by community health centers. The event is part of many happening at community health centers across New York State and the country. Additional information about National Health Center Week in New York State can be found at chcanys.org. The Community Health Center of Buffalo, a federally qualified health center, operates locations in Buffalo, Cheektowaga, Niagara Falls, and Lockport. Community Health Center of Buffalo Incorporated is committed to providing access to quality and culturally sensitive health care to all, regardless of an ability to pay, offering free or discounted fees for patients who qualify. Next event, Buffalo Olmsted Parks brings back free family movie night. Grab a blanket and a lawn chair. Buffalo Olmsted Parks Conservancy is bringing back its free family movie night series, giving families across the city a reason to gather under the stars in two of Buffalo's most beloved green spaces. Where and when the series unfolds across 4 evenings in 2 parks: Prospect Park, Connecticut, Niagara Street; August 14th, The Wild Robot; August 28th, The Prince and the Frog, Riverside Park by the T-Ball Diamond, Crawley and Tonawanda Streets; August 21, Up; September 4th, The Mitchells versus the Machines. Each screening runs approximately 8 to 9:30 p.m. with films beginning at sunset. What to bring? Admission is completely free. Organizers recommend bring a picnic blanket, lawn chairs, and your family's favorite snacks to settle in for the evening. Since the events are weather dependent, please refer to the Conservancy's Facebook and Instagram for last minute updates before heading out. Community support behind the screen. The series is made possible in part thanks to funding secured by New York State Assemblyman John Rivera. The Conservancy is also inviting local businesses and community members to become official movie night crew sponsors, with recognition packages ranging from $500 to $1,000 that include name and logo placement, our marketing materials, and social media shout-outs. Assemblyman John Rivera said Buffalo's parks are some of our community's greatest assets, and programs like Family Movie Night help bring neighbors together in a welcoming and affordable way. I was proud to secure state funding to support the Buffalo Olmsted Park Conservancy and help make these free events possible for families across our city. Whether it's introducing children to a favorite film, enjoying an evening outdoors, or simply spending quality time together, these movie nights create lasting memories. while showcasing the natural beauty of our park system. I encourage families from across Buffalo to bring a blanket, gather their loved ones, and take advantage of these wonderful summer traditions. Whether you're a longtime Olmsted Park regular or looking for a new summer tradition, this movie night series offers a simple, free way to enjoy Buffalo's historic parks with the whole family. For sponsored details, contact Anna Kaplan, Deputy Director of Strategic Initiatives and Development at anna@bfloparks.org. Next event, Tool Library turns 15 with renovation plans to be announced. Borrow, Build, and Barbecue are an old-fashioned block party on Main Street. Buffalo, New York. In honor of the organization's 15th anniversary, the Tool Library will be revealing its ambitious renovation plan at a new signature fundraiser, Borrow, Build, and Barbecue, right at its home at 2626 Main Street on August 8th from 4 to 7 p.m. Working in conjunction with architectural firm ELEV 8, the Tool Library begins a phased renovation of its historic 1900 building this summer. Plans include significant cosmetic repair, making the building ADA compliant with the addition of an elevator accessing all 4 floors for tools, projects, and people, fully equipped workshop and community gathering spaces, and even a model rooftop garden. These plans will be formally announced and discussed at Borrow, Build, and Barbecue, a family-friendly block party and backyard-style barbecue, which will take place at the Tool Library shop and parking lot. Tickets start at $50 and can be purchased in advance online at thetoollibrary.org. Children 12 and under are free. It's incredibly exciting to welcome our community to Borrow, Build, and Barbecue at our home on Main Street, said Executive Darren Cotton, Director of the Tool Library. For 15 years, we've shown what's possible when we share tools and build community. What better way to debut the planned renovation of 2626 Main Street than by transforming our parking lot into a community gathering and event space? Borrow, Build, and Barbecue features unveiling of building renovation plans, building tours and hands-on demos, basket raffles, and a silent auction. Beer and wine with catering sponsored by The Lunchbox and featuring barbecue from Southern Junction. Lawn games and activity stations, music and dance, new Tooligan merchandise, and much more. Fundraise from the block party will sustain the Tool Library's work of sharing tools, reducing waste, and building community. Next, we have the Mighty Oba Sports Report by Pat Freeman. The NFL draft is such a crapshoot that it's hard to grade any team based on their decisions from this annual 3-day selection party. Some of the draft strategies are often questioned, but at the end of the day, your evaluation will be based on the franchise's either continuous improvement or their decline. The Buffalo Bills are moving in a range of win now or lose the best years of their franchise quarterback. This is like what happened to Carolina during the best years of Cam Newton. They reached 1 Super Bowl but could not sustain the level of play because their best players began to feel the physical toll of playing in the NFL for multiple years. The problem is beginning to catch up with the Buffalo Bills because the window of opportunity is closing, and you could see this team take a step back this year. The organization must be given credit for making the Bills a relevant franchise again, but they also must know when it is time to revamp this roster. Signing older players in this league can be a recipe for disaster because older players get injured, and if they cannot fulfill their contract, the guaranteed part of it can destroy your salary cap. This dilemma came into fruition with the Von Miller deal because the Bills have committed $43.5 million to a player who was then turning 34 years old. Bean will be held accountable for some of these decisions that could hurt this franchise in the next few years, along with this year, which I think will be very tough on this team. And our final article is A Poet's Way by Gaynell Williams. First and foremost, do as he said, practice obedience, and be no other God, and have no other God before him, or he is a jealous God. Show mercy to thousands who love him and keep his commandments. Remember him, and he will remember you. He is the Lord, who reminds us through his word who he is and how God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So, do you remember him? Remember to cry out loud and spare not. There are many who have forgotten. Do what your hands find to do, but let it be good work, so you do not provoke the Lord, and he will do you no hurt. Be alert, watch and pray every day. Think of things that are lovely, and let your mind stay on him for perfect peace. Hear the word of the Lord, because faith comes by hearing, and the Lord has a controversy with you. Turn your wickedness to righteousness, and know who's who, especially those who labor among you. Remember to praise ye the Lord, for his mercy endureth forever. There is one thing I hope you never do. Never turn your back on him, for your eyes will soon grow dim, and darkness will be your day. You will have changed directions, leading away from perfection. You will become cold without love, and no sign of the dove. Love one another, your neighbor as well as your brother. Keep in mind that the poor in spirit are blessed, and the kingdom of God is theirs, for his ears are open to their prayers. If you are prosecuted for righteousness' sake, you are blessed, and the kingdom of God is yours also. These things are a reminder and very good to know. You are the salt of the earth, and when there is new birth, the salt should not lose its savor, but rather maintain its flavor. He is the Lord who offers this lasting reminder that you be sure to remember him, and he will remember you. He said, be sure to know that he lives. A Poet's Way. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the August 1st to August 7th issue of the Buffalo Criterion. We read from the Buffalo Criterion every Friday at 7 p.m. Your reader has been Margaret Mack. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the New York Times. At 9 o'clock is Discover Magazine, and at 10 o'clock is episode number 4 of Vigil by George Saunders. Stay with us. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555.
is Mark Grier, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the August